Good morning, friends, and welcome back to Five Agendas. So we're going to continue the Elohim Declaration, but we interrupt that with going back and having a look at a thought paper back in 2019. So it'll be in the description box below this video, but also go to fiveagendas.com, and which will be this main page. And if you scroll down, there's the newsletter tab. You click on that, and if you scroll down to 2019 and click on where's the blueprint of the everlasting gospel, it brings up this one, which we're going to do today, which will be right here. Now, I wish I could go through all of these topics, but we're going to deal with, in this video, the additional source material in 554, endorsed by the man in linen. But before we do, just real quickly, see, like the thought paper for April and May are just posted. So if you click on that, it opens up the thought paper. And the helpful part, the way we're doing this is, like, as you're reading through it, either the online edition or if you get it by email, and if you want it by email, we can send it to you by email. The links that are in the thought paper, there's a lot of time and effort that goes into the research and pulling up these links. See, like, you can click on it and you can actually open up the Bible version and read it. But like in an earlier one, see, like, for instance, part 4 here, it's the links that, where is it? So you can open up and read the Bible, but there's a lot of research material that goes into, let me give you an example right here. See, where it's underlined and in blue, there is a link for not just the Bible text, but also websites that, for further reading. Let's see if I can give you an example here. You click on that, see, it'll take you to the Bible verse where you can easily read it. Let's see. I believe this is part 1. Yes. See here. See, like, where it was talking about, ask yourself if both messengers, you click on that, and it'll tell you about A.T. Jones. And that's the reason why we do this with the links, so that as you're reading it through, if you get it by email or you download the one from online, you can just pause for a second, click on the link, read it from the different, versions here, or a link to a website for further study. See, John Bunyan, Grace Abounding. No, that one's not working. But anyway, that should be helpful. So yeah, and here we go. So 8, 2019, which was Adventay part 19, the additional source material. Scroll down. on 554, endorsed by the man in linen. So the following are historical resources proving what the man in linen said about the commencement of the abominations from Daniel 8:13 and 12:11 from 554 is true, and why 508, 538, and 1798 fails. So, for instance, like here's your links, the Roman artifacts, Roman and Greek coins, and in the online edition or email, you click on that, it'll take you to it. Now this is just the word copy, so if I click on that, see here, it takes you to the website, and you can, here's your different coins and the history behind that. Okay, so here's the Gothic Wars from 535 to 554 AD. So the Gothic War is a war fought in Italy and the adjoining regions from 535 AD until 554. Notice Gothic Wars. Oh, so it was still going on until then. Between the army of Eastern Roman Empire, Byzantine, and the tribes under the control of the Ostrogothic Kingdom of Italy, which began after Odovacer deposed the last Western emperor in 476. It is commonly divided into two phases. The first, 535 to 540, which ended with the fall of Ravenna and the apparent conquest of Italy by the Romans, and the second phase, 540 to 541 and 553, where the Gothic resistance was reinvigorated under Totila and was suppressed only after a long war by the general Narses, who also defeated the Frankish Alemannic invasion of 554. Justinian I, Eastern Roman Empire from 527 to 565. Justinian I began the reconquest of large parts of Africa and Italy, and that had previously been lost to the Vandals and Ostrogoths. For a short period of time, the Roman Empire was nearly whole again. Notice that's from 520. He was emperor from that time, but notice the Vandals and the Ostrogoths. Here's here's your history timeline, okay? And that's where the online and email edition takes you straight to here and for further research. So 508, Theodoric de facto annexes the Visigoths, southern Gaul and Spain, thus unifying Visigoths and Ostrogoths. 508. 536, the Roman general Belisarius launches a campaign to recover Italy and destroy the Ostrogothic kingdom. Notice this is after 508. 539, the Ostrogoths conquer Milan. Notice that's after 538 and 508. 553, the Ostrogoths are expelled from Italy by the Eastern Roman armies. 554, the new king of the Visigoths, Athanagild, accepts the emperor's sovereignty over Spain. So, it was previously believed that the 1260 and the 1290 began in 508 and 538 and ended in 1798. So, I mean, I wonder, hold on a second and I'll find something for you. Okay, so here you go. So here's the 1843 chart, and see, look here. So here's 508, daily taken away of the date of sacrifice, 508. 538, the Hurley Vandals and the Ostrogoths by this time were plucked up. Okay, so if the Heruli, the Vandals, and the Ostrogoths were plucked up in 538, then they still should not be, in existence, kicking around and causing trouble after this date. But here, and over here again, see, daily taken away, 508. papacy said at 538. So there's the incorrect and the error in the charts that had 508 and 538 starting for the 1290 starting in 508, 1260 starting in 538 going to 1798, even though the Bible said that the 1260 had to start first, which would have had to have it start in 508 instead of 538. But this has the 1290 starting first, but the Bible says the 1260 comes first, followed by the 30 additional for the 1290. So this is the error in the chart. So, you know, there you have it right there in 1798. Okay. So, because here you have in 553, the Ostrogoths are expelled from Italy. Here's your historical proof. Now, the true correct understanding of this does not contradict history or the Bible. In fact, history happened. The Bible said it was going to happen. They fit together perfectly, which makes for a correct interpretation. The old, with 508 and 538, goes against the facts of history, trying to make the interpretation and make the prophecies line up and fit, which it doesn't, and so goes against the Bible. So, and here's another link that takes you to another timeline. And let's see, if you scroll down, I believe it should be here. Yeah, see, 554. Here it is right here. The end of the Barbar Wars, 554. The empire reorganizes Italy as an imperial province. C552, end of Ostrogothic resistance in Italy. So how can you have this happening when this says, right? Sorry, just trying to, that, you know, the Vandals and the Ostrogoths were plucked up in 538. It can't happen. Okay. So, hold on. What did I do here? So there's your timelines. Okay. Okay. 552, end of Ostrogothic resistance in Italy. 554, Rome is reduced to a camp of about 30,000 people, while Constantinople has about 1 million people. 554, the new king of the Visigoths, Athanagild, accepts the emperor sovereignty over Spain. So here's your 554, and the empire reorganizes Italy as an imperial province, end of Barbar Wars. So here's another link for further research. The most successful were the campaigns of the Byzantine generals Belisarius and Narses on behalf of the Eastern Roman Emperor Justinian I from 534 to 554. So you click on that, right? So here is history on the Western Roman Empire. Okay. At one point, Belisarius was offered the position of Emperor of the West by the Ostrogoths, and he feigned acceptance to conquer a city. So here's from Britannica. The Eastern emperors in Constantinople regarded themselves as the legitimate rulers of the West, including Italy, after 476. Both Odoacer and, for a time, Theodoric had recognized them. and they had strong links with the Roman Senate. In 533 to 34, Belisarius, general for the Eastern Emperor Justinian, conquered Vandal Africa. I don't know if I'm going to say this right. Malasuntha's death was the necessary excuse to invade Italy. Belisarius arrived in Sicily in 535, and by 540 he had fought his way north to Ravenna. The Ostrogothic king Witiges, from 536 to 540, surrendered to him. The Gothic armies of the north, however, elected new kings, and Totila, 541 to 552, the most successful of them, kept the war going throughout the peninsula until his death in battle. The Gothic wars were a disaster for Italy. Almost no region was untouched by them. Together with the subsequent wars of the Lombard settlement, they marked the end of the Roman world there. In the 550s and the early 560s, however, the Eastern, henceforth Byzantine Empire, succeeded in reestablishing its political order in Italy. And in 554, Justinian issued his pragmatic sanction. Okay. Setting forth its terms. 554, the royal pragmatic sanction issued by Justinian. Italy was made a province of the Byzantine Emperor, with its capital still at Ravenna. Sicily, Sardinia, and Corsica, however, were to remain administratively separate. And the Ostrogoth political system was to be dissolved. When? 554. And not in 508, which is, no, sorry, 538. See, Ostrogoths plucked up 538, 554. Indeed, the Ostrogoths virtually vanished as a people from then on. 554, not 538. They must have been absorbed into the Roman population or into that of the Lombards. So here you have the Gothic Wars, 535 to 554. Here's a map. You can look at this more in detail. Here's the facts, here's the history books. So in summary, the Gothic War from 535 to 554, 20 years, location Italy and Dalmatia, short-term Eastern Roman victory, long-term devastation of Italy, territorial changes, Sicily, mainland Italy and Dalmatia occupied by the Eastern Roman Empire, belligerence, Byzantine Empire against Ostrogoths, commanders and leaders, Byzantine, Belisarius and Narses against Witiges, Totila, Tia. Hint, hint. 3 were laid low. They were 3 Ostrogothic kings. Okay. Witiges, Totila, and Tia. And it wasn't in 538. The Gothic War between the Byzantine Empire during the reign of Emperor Justinian I and the Ostrogothic Kingdom of Italy took place from 535 until 554. In the Italian peninsula, Dalmatia, Sardinia, Cilicia, and Corsica. The war had its roots in the ambition of the Eastern Roman Empire Justinian to recover the province of the former Western Roman Empire, which the Romans had lost to invading barbarian tribes in the previous century. The war followed the Byzantine reconquest of the province of Africa from the Vandals. Historians commonly divide the war into 2 phases, 535 to 540, ending the fall of the Ostrogothic capital Ravenna, and the apparent reconquest of Italy by the Byzantines, 535 to 540, and the second phase, 540, 553, 41, 540 to 541, A Gothic revival under Totila, suppressed only after a long struggle by the Byzantine general Narses, who also repelled an invasion in 554 by the Franks and Alemanni. In 554, Justinian promulgated the Pragmatic Sanction, which prescribed Italy's new government. See? 538. Ostrogoths, by this time, were plucked up. See, we always thought it was the Heruli, the Vandals, and the Ostrogoths were the three that were laid low. Here the Bible is saying, okay, 3 kings. Was in 538. It wasn't the Heruli, the Vandals, and the Ostrogoths in 538, because the Ostrogoths were still kicking around up to 554. And it was the 3 kings, Vitiges, Totila, and Tia. The subsequent siege of Rome, the first of the 3 in the Gothic War, lasted from March 537 to 538. How then could, our question is, how then could the Ostrogoths be uprooted in 538 when in March 538 was the end of the one of 3 sieges of Rome by the Ostrogoths? Gothic revival, 541 to 551. The Goths perceived his heroic inactivity for what it was and turned to Ildibad's nephew Totila and offered to make him king. Totila had already opened negotiations with the Byzantines, but when he was contacted by the conspirators, he assented. In the early autumn of 541, Hereric was murdered and Totila proclaimed king. How interesting. After more than a year, Totila finally entered Rome on 17 December 546. He was one of the kings of the Ostrogoths, and he enters Rome in 546. But we were originally taught that they were plucked up 538. Sorry, can't happen. Can't happen. So around the time of 547, several cities, including Perugia, were taken by the Goths. 547, while Belisarius remained inactive and was then recalled from Italy. In 549, Totila advanced again against Rome. Byzantine reconquest, 551 to 554. Near the village of Tagane, the Byzantines encountered the Ostrogothic army, commanded by Totila, who had been advancing to intercept Narses. The attack failed, and by evening, the Ostrogoths had broken and fled. Totila was killed in the rout. The Goths holding Rome capitulated, and at the Battle of Mons Lactarius in October 553, Narses defeated Tias and the last remnant of the Gothic army in Italy. Expansion of the Byzantine Empire, between 527 and 565. Though the Ostrogoths were defeated, Narses soon had to face other barbarians who invaded Byzantine, northern Italy and southern Gaul. In early 553, an army of about 30,000 Franks and Alemanni crossed the Alps and took the town of Parma. They defeated a force under the Heruli commander Fulcaris, and soon many Goths from northern Italy joined their forces. Narses had dispersed his troops to garrisons throughout southern Italy and had wintered at Rome. After serious depredations throughout Italy, the barbarians were brought to battle by Narses. On the banks of the river Volturnus, in the Battle of Volturnus, the Roman legions held a furious Frankish assault, while the Byzantine cavalry encircled them. The Franks and Alemanni were about all but annihilated. 7,000 Gauls held out at Campsa near Naples until capitulating in the spring of 555. The lands and cities across the river Po were still held by the Franks, Alemanni, Goths, and it was not until 562 that their last strongholds, the cities of Verona and Brixia, were subjugated. According to the Roman historian Procopius of Caesarea, the barbarian population was then allowed to live peaceably in Italy under Roman sovereignty. Conclusion is, therefore, historians have proven the Ostrogoths were not uprooted in 538, but in 553 during the second round of warfare. This is the significant problem with the 538 AD, in lieu of the fact that the Ostrogoths retook the city of Rome after that, and it was during the second round of warfare from 535 to 553 that the last three kings, three were laid low, of the Ostrogoths were defeated. This is a verified historical fact. Their names were Witiges, Totila, and Tia, thus fulfilling Daniel 7:8. Boom. Three horns or kings were laid low. You can't have the Ostrogoths uprooted in 538 when historians say the Ostrogothic capital of Ravenna still existed up until 540, and that the Ostrogoths vanished from then on as being 554. This is confirmed by what the Man and Linen established, that from the time, the 1290 years, in Daniel 12:11, counting back 1290 years from 1844, because the question was asked, Admete, until when shall be the vision concerning the daily and the transgression against it. And remember, Palmoni, the wonderful number, said, unto 2,300 days. Well, you know that's 1844. Count back 1290, and you can only come to 554. Concerning the daily and the little horn's transgression, abomination against it, it would be 1290 years from the time of 554 unto 1844. The expression from the time must be 554 with the purpose of admite. How important is admite? Unto 1844, proving the orthodoxy of Jesus' words. Here's what links in John 4:22. Jesus said, salvation of the Jew, a dual atonement. Two chronologies that prove 1844 and the final atonement, dual atonement. Pretty interesting stuff, huh? Well, there you have it. Hope this helps. And this won't be the end. So God bless and take care.